Welcome back once again to the worldofenglishexams.com. In this video, we are going to cover how to write the body paragraphs and the conclusive paragraph for the essay question type, do you agree or disagree? If you remember, in the last video, we have understood how to frame a very good introduction, a standard one for this question type. If you haven't checked that out, do look at that and understand that. I will give the link in the description box. So in this video, which is a continuation of the earlier video, we are going to look at three things. First, what are the various points that you have to remember before writing the body paragraphs, and what is the structure for the body paragraph, as well as the third point is that we are going to also write a good band 9 introduction and conclusion. So we are going to frame the structure for the entire essay. So do stay tuned till the end of the video. Okay, so let's get started with today's video by understanding the template that must be followed. You must have this in mind because this structure is the organized one and the best one to write any form of an essay, not just do you agree or disagree. So what are the three paragraphs that are mandatory? The first one is the introduction, the second is the body paragraph, and the third is the conclusion. However, you can modify the body paragraphs and you can divide them into either 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs depending on the essay type. So for this essay question, we are going to write 2 body paragraphs. We are going to look at how to frame the body paragraph sentence by sentence. So do stay tuned, and for the introduction video, do check out worldofenglishexams.com. Now, you have to follow a 5-step plan that is known as the power strategy. What's the first step? P is for planning, O is for organizing, W is for writing, E for evaluating, and R is for reviewing and recounting. So you have to follow this sequence in order to write a perfect band 9 essay. And of course, you guys should not start writing directly, because unless and until you have a plan and you have organized your ideas logically, you wouldn't know what to write and how to write. So that would lead you into a confusion state. We don't want to be confused and waste our time in the main exam. So always plan and organize and allot at least 8 to 10 minutes to plan and group your ideas together. Okay, so and you have to write a minimum of 250 words. Now let's see what are the various points to remember before writing the body paragraphs. Do not stuff too many ideas in one paragraph. Yes, you have read it right. You should not include too many ideas in one body paragraph. Now the question is, now that we have so many ideas, while we are planning and organizing, we have brainstormed and we have got too many ideas, but it must be understood that the time is strictly limited in the IELTS writing. So remember not to include too many ideas, but to identify the top ones which are very closely related to the topic, and those ideas are what are going to make up our body paragraphs. Remember the thumb rule: one body paragraph should contain one idea with proper justification and substantiation. Now the second point to remember is to sequence your ideas logically, and this factor is known as coherence. So how logically you sequence your ideas shows your ability to progress from one sentence to another. Now the third point is to use appropriate and suitable linking words, because we are aiming to form a paragraph and not bullet points. So never write the essay in the form of bullet points. Always make paragraphs. And the fourth point, use demonstrative pronouns like this, that, these, those, and today I am going to also show to you how you can use demonstrative pronouns while writing the body paragraphs. Now the fifth point is, do not write too many simple sentences, because this will give you a lower score in your GRA, that is grammatical range and accuracy. So this gives you 25% of your score. So see to it that you include a wide variety of sentence structure. Don't make them too simple nor too complex. So you have to have a mix and match of the sentence types. And then you have to give relevant examples. IELTS is all about substantiation and justification of ideas. So you take one idea, let the idea be a simple one, but if you can relate it to the topic with good examples and vocabulary, then you can be the winner. You can get your desired score. Okay, then the examples need not be real ones. Now this is where most of the students would be confused, because they'll be thinking of real-time examples, and if at all the experience is a non-realistic one, then it is completely acceptable and fine on the IELTS test. So all you have to do is look and write an example that is related to the topic, whether it is real or non-real. Then of course, as I told you, you can write either 2 body paragraphs or 3 body paragraphs. I hope all of you understood the various points to remember. Now let's look at the structure for the body paragraph. So as you can see, the screen is quite colorful, and you can see that there are 5 main sentences in the body paragraph. And see to it that this structure is followed for the essay type. Whatever the essay type it is suitable for all the essay types. So now let's understand what is it. The first sentence in the body paragraph is known as the topic sentence. So the topic sentence gives a start for the body paragraph. A topic sentence may be defined as that sentence which gives the reader an idea of what you're going to establish in that paragraph. What exactly are you pointing out to in that paragraph? So that introductory sentence is known as the topic sentence, which is compulsory for each and every body paragraph. So how many ever body paragraphs you write, do remember to start it with a topic sentence. Now after you give the topic sentence, after you have introduced the idea, all you need to do is give the relevant supporting details to justify your view. That would be the second statement, which is known as the supporting details. So here it must be remembered that the number of supporting details may be just 1 or 2, but make sure that you extend the idea in the form of substantiation, but you need not extend too many sentences. Okay, in one sentence, if you can group all the ideas together which are relevant to the topic, then that would be enough for that. Now if at all you require to write an additional detail, you can write another statement, but this is not mandatory. This is just an optional one. Now the fourth sentence, as I was talking, is a survey or an example. So for any given IELTS essay question, there would be a common statement that you can give examples from your own experience to prove your point. So you can use that statement. You can give a survey that of course might be a fake one. Okay, so the fourth statement should be called as a fake survey or an own example. Then finally, the last statement is known as the internal conclusion. Now, you might be wondering why I have used the word conclusion here in a body paragraph. Of course, this is not the final conclusion, guys. For each and every body paragraph, make sure that you're concluding the idea. So that statement that concludes the idea and relate back to the topic sentence is known as an internal conclusion. So the internal conclusion is more or less like the summary of what is covered in that paragraph. So have you understood the 5-step structure? It starts with the topic sentence, followed by supporting details, additional detail, then survey or example, and finally the internal conclusion. Now let's continue from where we have stopped in the last video. In the last video, we have covered the introduction, and now let's see the question once again. Let's recapitulate what we have written and let's proceed. The question is, some people believe that criminals who commit minor crimes, that is petty offenses or petty crimes, should be made to do some unpaid community work rather than jailing them. Do you agree or disagree? And this is the introduction that we have written. It is believed by some individuals that felons who commit petty crimes should be made to do certain tasks as a part of unrewarded community services as opposed to incarcerating them. So instead of jailing them, we must make them to do some unrewarded community services. And I completely agree with the given statement. So this is my thesis statement. I completely agree with the given statement, as now I am giving the reasons. As such unpaid community activities would be much more behooveful for the government. So this is my first body paragraph, wherein I am taking the side of the government, and I am telling that such unpaid activities would favor the government. Now, what is the second point or the second body paragraph? Additionally, this would also make these lawbreakers feel contrite about their misdeeds. So, we have established that the prisoners or the mild offenders are going to feel contrite. That means they are going to feel sorry and guilty about their misdeeds, and of course they are going to refine themselves. So this can be seen as a very good opportunity for the same. So these are my two ideas. First is the side of the government in cost cutting, and the second one is the change in the behavior of the criminals. Okay, so now I'll move on to the third statement in the introduction, that's known as the outline statement. What have I written here? In this essay, I will espouse to this view. That means I'm a firm believer of this view and will elaborate my views with relevant examples in favor of my argument. So this is the perfect style of writing the introduction, by starting with a paraphrase. And that reminds me, guys, we have made another video on how to paraphrase, the various methods of paraphrasing. That also I'm going to link in the description box, so do check that out. Now, after we have established our idea, let's see how we can actually write the body paragraph by taking the ideas, that is the side of the government. In the first body paragraph, I am going to talk about how such activities will be beneficial and profitable for the government, and in the second body paragraph, I am going to cover how this would be a good opportunity for the prisoners or the convicts to change their behavior. So yes, this is how the body paragraph is. And for your easy understanding, I have broken the body paragraph into individual sentences, and I am going to take you through the body paragraph sentence by sentence. Okay, so as I told you, the first sentence is the topic sentence that can be written like this: to begin with. Now this is the linker that links the introduction with the body paragraph. To begin with, one of the alternative forms of punishment for the misdemeanors is to make them work for the society without paying them. Now here I have included a good vocabulary word, that is misdemeanors. So to find the meaning, you need to go to www.worldofenglishexams.com. Of course, I'll be repeating the words and their meanings here as well, but for the written format, you need to check out our website. Okay, so misdemeanors is nothing but they are the people who have committed petty crimes, not such serious crimes. Okay, so what is one of the alternative forms of punishment? Is to make them work for the society without paying them. Now, why am I thinking like that? Because I am substituting the work of labor. So that would be a reduction in the costs incurred by the government. So now that point I need to establish clearly in my supporting statement. Now let's see how to write that. This would be impactful. Have you noticed that I have started the sentence with this? So such words are called demonstrative pronouns. Now here I am linking the first sentence with the second one. So this would be impactful. What is the meaning of this here? This means unpaid community service. Okay, so this would be impactful. It would create a good impact, not just for the community but also for the government. Now I support the government. Employing labor force for community services like picking up the garbage, clearing the snow off the cycle paths, and redecorating the communal buildings can be a financial burden for the government. So I am establishing that if the government has to give or allot some sort of budget or amount for all these activities, of course it would be a lot more burden for the government. Now, and such unpaid activities by the offenders may be a good substitute for it. So I am suggesting that if the free labor or the free community work is being done by these criminals, of course it would be a very good alternative for the government to save some money. Of course that money can be used for other developmental activities, isn't it? Okay, now that serves as a good supporting detail. Now let me cite an example. For instance, burglars and juvenile delinquents in many European countries are made to serve the communities for several weeks instead of jail time. So I am citing the example that in many Western countries, burglars or robbers or thieves, okay, and juvenile delinquents, that is youngsters who commit crime, so they are called juvenile delinquents. In many Western countries, they are made to serve the community. Of course, they would not be paying them anything, but instead of jailing them and putting behind bars, this serves as a good alternative. So now, which has shown to impact the young minds in a positive way, to be indebted to the society they live in. So it is invoking a sense of guilt, and indirectly it's also provoking them that they have committed a crime and they should not re-offend again. So now, how do I write the internal conclusion? I started with a linking word, therefore. So therefore, what am I conveying through this body paragraph? Non-paying communal activities, that is unpaid community work, the synonym for that, could be a better form of punishment for mild offences. Of course, this is what I have conveyed in the paragraph, right? So whatever is my topic sentence, that should match with what I have given in the internal conclusion. So both the sentences should mean the same. Now, have you understood how to write it? Now let's write it like a paragraph. This is how it looks. To begin with, one of the alternative forms of punishment for the misdemeanors is to make them work for the society without paying them. This would be impactful not just for the community but also for the government. Employing labor force for community services like picking up the garbage, clearing the snow off the cycle paths, and redecorating the communal buildings can be a financial burden for the government, and such unpaid activities by the offenders may be a good substitute for this. For instance, burglars and juvenile delinquents in many European Western countries are made to serve the communities for several weeks instead of jail time, which has shown to impact the young minds in a positive way, to be indebted to the society they live in. Therefore, non-paying communal activities could be a better form of punishment for mild offences. Guys, what do you think about this paragraph? Have we covered the first idea? Yes, so we have given a perfect start for the body paragraph, and we have given very good supporting statements, and we have cited an example, and we have also concluded the idea. So this is how you write the body paragraph. Now let's also talk about the second point that we wanted to cover. Okay, so here comes the second body paragraph. Furthermore, activities like these can be an eye-opener for these convicts. So I am establishing my second idea that such ideas will serve as an eye-opener for these criminals or for these convicts. So they will understand the consequences of breaking the law. So what are the dire consequences? What are the negative consequences when they break or when they violate the law, which would help them to be better individuals in the society after their term of punishment. So once they have served their term, they will understand why it is harmful to break the law. So this is the topic sentence, and now let me introduce the supporting details. This feeling of guilt, have you seen that again I have started the supporting detail with a demonstrative pronoun. So this is how it has to be. This feeling of guilt and repentance can refine the offender's minds and motivate them positively. So it can serve to be a motivator for them. So this is the support for that. Now, how should I give an example? So I can start it in this format by using this phrase. To cite an example, to make up for their transgression, trespassers in the US had to fulfill 100 community service hours, after which the rate of such illegitimate activities declined drastically. So the point I am citing here is that to make up for their transgression. Transgression is another form of a crime. So to make up for their sentence, to make up for their punishment, okay, so trespassers, this is one of the forms of misdemeanors or petty crimes. So one of the petty crimes is trespassing. That is entering into someone's private property without their permission. That is called trespassing. So trespassers in the US had to fulfill 100 community service hours, after which, so due to this activity, what has happened? The rate of such illegitimate activities declined drastically. Okay, now what is the conclusive statement? Again, it has to link back. It has to go back to the topic sentence. Hence, misdemeanants, that is the people who commit petty crimes are called misdemeanants, may feel attuned. Attuned is nothing but sorry, for their misdeeds or wrong actions, if given an opportunity to do something productive for the society instead of incarcerating them. So incarcerating is nothing but imprisoning them. So instead of imprisoning them, you must make them feel sorry and repent for their misdeeds, and this can serve as a wonderful chance for that. So this is how I write the second body paragraph. Let's read it once. Furthermore, activities like these can be an eye-opener for these convicts. They will understand the consequences of breaking the law, which would help them to be better individuals in the society after their term of punishment. Now, this feeling of guilt and repentance can refine the offender's minds and motivate them positively. To cite an example, to make up for their transgression, trespassers in the US had to fulfill 100 community service hours, after which the rate of such illegitimate activities declined drastically. Hence, misdemeanants may feel attuned for their misdeeds if given an opportunity to do something productive for the society instead of incarcerating them. So this completes the body paragraph, and now let's check out how to write a good conclusion for this. Now, these are the points that you have to remember while writing the conclusion. The first one, write a short and clear conclusion. The second point is very important, guys. Do not include any new ideas in the conclusion. So the conclusion must summarize whatever the ideas we have portrayed in the body paragraph. That is, taking the side of the government as well as change in the behavior. So you should not include any new ideas in the conclusion. Now you just have to briefly state your opinion and the reasons. Of course, just like how we have used the appropriate linkers in the body paragraph, even for the conclusion, you need to use the appropriate conclusive linkers like to conclude, in conclusion, to sum up, to recapitulate, to reiterate. So these are some of the popular conclusive linkers. Now let's see how to write the conclusion. To conclude, I fully agree that convicts who commit petty crimes should be sentenced to perform work in the community like painting the dilapidated buildings, collecting and disposing the trash as a form of punishment, since this will help the authorities to cut the costs as well as teaches the criminals not to violate the law again. So this is a simple one sentence conclusion. So here what have I done? I have restated what I have written in the thesis statement. So let me just go back to that and show you how easy it is. So I am taking the idea basically from the introduction. So in the introduction, as you can see, I have covered 2 points. The first thing, I am going to look at the thesis statement where I have written, I completely agree with the statement that such unpaid activities would be behooveful or profitable for the government and also make the lawbreakers feel contrite or bad about their misdeeds, right? So this was our conclusion and this was our introduction, and the conclusion also should restate the same thing. To conclude, I fully agree. Again, I'm telling that I completely support that because such activities like painting the dilapidated buildings, that is the old and shabby looking buildings, and of course collecting and disposing the trash will help the authorities, that is the government authorities, to cut the cost. It would be a way of saving the money. Okay, as well as teaches the criminals not to violate the law again. So this is how the entire essay would look. Okay, so this is how the entire essay would look in total. So the first paragraph corresponds to the introduction. The second and third paragraphs given here are the body paragraphs, and the last paragraph is the conclusion. So this sums up how to write the essay for do you agree or disagree. And of course for the hard words, I have given the meaning clearly. So I hope you understood how to write this essay, and if at all this lesson was clear, please like, share and do subscribe to our channel and ring the bell icon and never miss any latest update from our channel. Thank you so much, until I see you with the next video in which I am going to cover another essay type. Happy preparation guys, and all the best.